We'll call to order this regular January 27th, 2014 meeting of the Robertson County Commission. We'll begin this evening with the invocation by Pastor Eric Taylor of the City Hill Baptist Church, to be followed by the pledge to the flag. Please stand. Pastor Taylor.
Would you bow with me? Lord God, you have made the heavens and the earth, and alone, Lord, you are God, and there is no other. Lord, you alone are wise and all-knowing, our Creator. And Lord, I pray for this meeting tonight, and recognizing that your word makes it very clear that as a citizen and as citizens, we are to submit to our elected leaders and pray for them. God, I now pray for them and ask you, Lord, to guide their meeting. And may these elected leaders here tonight seek what is best for our county and its citizens. And may you grant them all knowledge, wisdom, and discernment to handle the affairs of Robertson County, not only for tonight, but throughout their terms of service. And God, I thank you for their desire to serve the public in this office and their willingness to tackle a responsibility that, frankly, most would rather not have. And so, Lord, I pray in a special way you'd bless them, reward them for their service. And so, Lord God, I pray you will bless this gathering tonight and this meeting. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's all right.
Thank you, Pastor Taylor. We appreciate that. Commissioners, at this time, if you will press yes and confirm, you'll be registered into the system. About 22 commissioners present and 2 absent. Commissioners Bill Gray and Steve Haley being absent. You have in your packets, Commissioners, the minutes from the December meeting. What's your pleasure? Have a motion for approval by DiOrio and second by Baggett. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So the minutes are approved. A number of items under communications from County Mayor. For our county employees, Ms. Stewart, our finance director, has asked me to announce, and I think you already know this already, that we'll be going paperless as far as the paycheck stubs are concerned, beginning I think the next pay period. Or there'll be one more for this coming Friday's pay period, and then we'll be going paperless, and you'll be able to go to the mybenefitschannel.com and find your pay stub. So we'll be keeping up with that electronically for county employees as we go forward. Today I received the resignation letter from 9th District Commissioner Bill Gray. As you know, Commissioner Gray had been in ill health. He recently moved out of the district, and we will certainly miss him. So we have a vacancy in the 9th District Commission that will be advertised in the February 5th edition of the Robertson County Times. And so you will select a new commissioner for District 9 at your March meeting. We have a 30-day rule, and so in order to incorporate that time, we will select the commissioner from the 9th District at the March meeting. So we accepted Commissioner Gray's resignation today with great sadness. Chair would like to entertain a motion to make Mr. Randy Davis, the Northcrest President and CEO, a member of this body.
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Jones and a second by Commissioner Farmer. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So, Mr. Davis, if you'll come up, we'd like for you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what's going on at Northcrest Medical Center. Mr. Randy Davis, President and CEO of Northcrest Medical Center.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Bradley. Thank you, Commission. I actually don't know how I would have handled the speech if that had not been voted in, so thank you for doing that. Just wanted to briefly come up and first of all formally introduce myself. So I'm Randy Davis, stepping in as the new CEO of Northcrest Medical Center, and also wanted to reintroduce to you all the hospital and the wonderful, outstanding community hospital that you all have, and that you all have given me the absolute pleasure to be able to run for the period of time that the board allows. In the very recent period of time, in terms of about the last quarter, all the impacts of healthcare reform have come home. We have gone through some very challenging times for that organization, but I think that anybody that's in this community that talks to any of the employees that are there, I think that you will find that we have 850 employees that are absolutely committed to the mission of this hospital, which is to provide the highest level of care to all of the community. And we can show that. And we can show that by holding up the fact that we have evidence-based just evidence that shows that we are in the top 3% in the nation in terms of how we perform as a hospital, and how we take care of patients with heart attack, congestive heart failure, and pneumonia. We are setting that standard in this community. We are the bell cow for what others are trying to do. We have research institutions like Vanderbilt University coming to our institution to find out how we are achieving those levels of quality. That's something that I want you all to be proud of. That this community hospital, that Northcrest Medical Center, is the shining star in the nation, not the state and not in Middle Tennessee. That we have been able to show things and achieve quality scores that no one can mimic. And we've done so in this community with persons from this community who are once again prideful of what we do. They're committed to the organization, and they come to work every single day understanding that they are friends taking care of friends and family taking care of family. So here's the promise that I just wanted to come to you all and make. That as the new CEO and president, that you should use our facility. That when you come to that facility, you will be treated with world-class care, better than anybody else that you can go to in the state, better than anywhere else you can go in the country. And that you'll be treated by people from your community who understand your problems and the issues and how to deliver that care in a compassionate, discreet, and private way. So thank you for allowing me to come in, introduce myself, but also reintroduce your hospital to you. So the commitment that I make to you all, I will do a better job of marketing that. You will see that the Joint Commission has, in fact, given us the award 3 years running of having the highest quality scores. And that's better than any other hospital can stay in the state of Tennessee. I promise you that you'll be treated with privacy and discretion in that organization. That you will have world-class service and specialties that you may have never had before and may not have known that you had access to in this community. But in return, embrace us. Understand that we are part of you. We are your community hospital. We are making that recommitment to you, and you can come there for the world-class service that you deserve. So, with that said, I will step aside. Hopefully I kept it under your time limit.
I already knew all that.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. We appreciate your work. Chair would at this time appreciate a motion to make Judge Glover a member of this body to explain the drug court. A motion by Commissioner Baggett and a second by Commissioner Darce. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So, Judge, if you'll come up, you can educate us about the change that's being made. along with Ms. Tracy Bryant. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Bradley, members of the County Commission, ladies and gentlemen, just come before you tonight to, I guess I'd call it an update on where we stand on the Robertson County General Sessions Drug Court. I'm going to pass an article, this is an article that's in the county paper back in August, and give you some insight. I guess most of you saw it. Just try to let them know myself. Might be a short one here, Charlie. This article sets out how this drug court came about with some seed money from the state of Tennessee. I've been talking to Tracy. I'm sure all of you know Tracy. She's a lifelong resident of Robertson County. She's been running the Sumner County Drug Court for almost 10 years now, and I've been in communication with her over the years. And there's a moratorium on the grants from the state of Tennessee to get these drug courts up and going. But last fall, I guess really back in the summer, Tracy made me aware that there was grant money available, and so we made application, and the grant is for $75,000, and that's been tendered to finance. I believe it came in November, December. And so we're up and almost to the starting point. Tracy will reflect on that in a few minutes. Of course, what I explained to the Finance Committee back in August, that this is a resource that would be very beneficial to the Robertson County General Sessions Court. I think it'll be beneficial to the taxpayers and the Sheriff's Department. I hope there's some individuals that we can help and monitor through the drug court and keep them out of the jail, and I think it'd be less expensive. Also, I hope it'll be some of these individuals, and Tracy can reflect on that a little bit more. I mean, we've all had the unfortunate experience to have to go to the funeral home and visit with a parent or grandparent who's lost a child or grandchild to overdose on Oxycontin, morphine, or heroin, and maybe we can save some lives in that area. I don't know whether we will. I mean, we'll never know, but I feel like we've got to make an attempt to do it. The ones that are participating in the drug court are Mr. Perry, and I'm going to ask him to come up here on behalf of the DA's office, Rosemary Thomas and Ann Kroger from the Public Defender's Office, myself. I had a representative from my office to also attend. We went to a drug conference, the annual, I guess, Tennessee Drug Court's annual conference. It was held in Murfreesboro, I believe it was the 15th through the 18th of December. And to get some education and insight as to the operation of the drug courts and what the requirements are and what you're contending with as a judge or district attorney, the operator of the drug court, the day-to-day operator like Tracy. I've also learned that we're going to have to go to another conference sometime in the next few weeks because we are a new drug court. So I think there's 4 new drug courts in Tennessee getting kicked off in 2014. So we've learned that we got to attend an additional conference. This time it's scheduled up in Tri-Cities. I hope maybe it's get moved. I don't care about making a trip, but got to do what we got to do. We have set up a temporary office up on the 3rd floor in this building. It's in the old Chancery courtroom where we're going to begin operations. We've gotten some furniture and stuff in, and of course, hopefully what we can achieve is we get a permanent location up on the 3rd floor where we can have the office space and also have a lab, a drug lab, where the screening can be done in-house. And I'm going to let Tracy reflect a little more on that. So at this point in time, that's what I wanted to bring to you. And for you county commissioners, I feel like that you have or will have some of your constituents ask about the drug court and how does it help and who does it help and how do you get somebody into it. So I'm going to ask Tracy to step up here and talk a little bit about that and whatever she may want to touch on some other things. Then I'm going to ask Mr. Perry to come up.
Hi, I'm Tracy Bryant, and I have been supervising, directing the drug court program up in Sumner County now for almost 9 years. And what we do is we take people that are involved in the criminal justice system who have committed crimes that stem from their drug and alcohol addiction. We put them into a program, we send them to treatment, they come back, they report to us 3 times a week, they do drug and alcohol education those 3 times a week. We do random testing on Saturdays over the weekend, we do home visits. The thing about drug courts is the accountability. It's seeing them 3 to 4 times a week. You're not trying to put everybody in the county in drug court. You're just trying to take the few people that meet the criteria. You're not going to take violent offenders. You're going to take people that have committed crimes due to their alcohol and drug addiction and try to make them productive citizens or help them become productive citizens. A lot of people don't know where to go and get the help. They don't know where to go and get treatment. They don't know how to fill out job applications. They don't know how to do those things. So we're leading and kind of holding their hands and helping them do that, because most of the time they've burnt their bridges with family. Family's had enough. Your family wants to turn them over and let somebody else fix this, help me fix this. We've got some families that are very supportive, and then we've got some that say they're just done. And what we were seeing was that when I was taking people into the Sumner County Drug Court program, a lot of those people also had charges in Robertson County. So I was calling Judge Glover, Joel Perry in the DA's office and saying, you know, listen, can you help me work with this person? So that was when Judge Glover said to me, well, you know, maybe we need to look into getting one started here, and that's what we've done. I have some information about drug courts. I don't know how much you want to know at this point, or, I mean, I could talk about drug courts all day long. I think that it's a very good program if you want to pass out the information, if you have any questions. What happens is somebody has an attorney, whether it's a private paid attorney or whether it is a public defender. That attorney makes an application to the DA's office and says, I have somebody that meets the criteria. I would like to get them screened for drug court. Then I get the notice that says, I need this person screened. They've met all the requirements to be screened. I screen them, I do a drug and alcohol assessment, and I determine from that a treatment plan. And then once that's done, I send it back to the DA's office. The DA's office then makes the recommendation of what the sentence should be, and then we come to court, go before Judge Glover, and then that's when it starts. They'll go to inpatient treatment, they'll come back, some will go to a halfway house, some might. The ones that have a safe environment to live in could possibly go home. If they don't have a safe environment to live in, then they would come back and report to a halfway house. So, anybody got any questions?
Are you going to stay over there, or are you going to come over here and work?
I'm going to do both. And we'll do both right now.
You do it, I know.
Thank you.
Who pays for the treatment?
We work with treatment centers that fund the treatment. I'm familiar with all the treatment centers in the area of Tennessee, even some that go outside of Tennessee. If you've got insurance and it pays, but most of the time private insurance is not going to pay for inpatient treatment. So I try to find the treatment center that best fits the person. I have children, I have grandchildren. I don't send anybody to a treatment center that I haven't been to, and I don't know what's going on at that treatment center. I'm not going to look at you. I don't want somebody to look at me and tell me, I'm going to send your child to treatment, and this is a great facility, and then they get there and it's not. I want to know where my child's going. What kind of help are you going to be getting while you're there? So I'm not going to send anybody to a treatment center that I'm not familiar with.
What is your success rate?
Sir?
What is your success rate?
Well, everybody measures success rate differently. People out of the General Sessions Court would have anywhere from 1 to 2 years, maybe even 3 years if they be supervised heavily. In Sumner County, it's about a 35% success rate. To some of you, that might not sound good, but it's very good. If you can keep somebody clean and sober for a year, the chances of them coming back and being productive is great, and you'll read that on, yeah.
Haley.
Yeah.
Mr. Perry, you want to come up here and visit? Word with y'all.
Have a motion to make Mr. Perry a member. Have a motion by Mr. Farmer and second by Commissioner Moore. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So, Mr. Joel Perry.
Good evening. As a representative from the District Attorney's Office, I'm excited about the prospect of Robertson County developing a drug court. It is having prosecuted in our county for now 17 and a half years, I've seen the need grow for something like this. We have a percentage of individuals that come into court that need something just like this. It's not going to be your first-time offender. It's going to be somebody that has a long-term addiction that needs a program like this, some guidance and some support. One of the things that you have to have for a drug court to work, though, is buy-in from the judge. You have to have buy-in from the district attorney's office, public defender, the private bar, and from the community. And having talked to folks over the last few months, I've found that among our office and the public defender's office, and obviously from the judge and the private bar, they're all in. I've also, over the last few months, as I've been out around the county, talked to people about drug court, and there's been a lot of people who are supportive of this, whether it's faith-based or community-based folks. They like this idea, and as Tracy said, if we can help get a percentage of these people, out of this culture of using drugs and that lifestyle, then they won't be breaking into your house or into my car or stealing from our stores, and get them on a better life. So I'm excited about the prospect and look forward to working with this program.
Questions, Mr. Perry? Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all for allowing us to come before you tonight.
Thank you, Judge. Next item the chair has are reports, and the first one is from EMS 7.1. 7.2 is from the Highway Commission. 7.3 is from the Veteran Service Officer. 7.4 is the trustee's statement of funds. 7.5 is the financial report. 7.6 is the fire service. 7.7 is from EMA. 7.8 is from the Gorham McBain Public Library. 7.9 is the inmate expense report. 7.10 is the solid waste report. 7.11 is from animal control. 7.12 is from the Planning Commission. And those are all the reports the chair has. What's your pleasure?
Accept and file.
Have a motion they be accepted and ordered filed by Commissioner Jones and second by Commissioner Wilson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So they are accepted. I recognize now Commissioner Vogel, who is chairman of the nominating committee for the rather lengthy list of January appointees. Commissioner Vogel.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Clerks, fellow commissioners, and citizens of Robertson County, the nominating committee met January 13th. We had our New Year appointments, and I'm going to like to entertain a motion in a second, and I'll read them off. You bear with me.
Okay. Motion.
I move that they be accepted to the
Motion
whole committee.
is second by Commissioner Baggett. Okay.
Okay, we're going to start with the Agriculture Committee. That's 2-year terms, and we got Joel Bernard, Randy Wilson, Denise Routsan, Bobby Couts are already on the committee. We got Billy Vogel, Jeff Justice, and Wynn Martin will serve another reappointment term to 2016. Board of Zoning Appeals, Bobby Jones is on the committee, Carol Duggar, Karen Couts, and Buddy Bryant. Andy Teasley, we've been told, is doing an excellent job, and we'd like to reappoint him to a term to 2019. Construction Board of Appeals, that's annually meeting. That's Matt Burnett, Steve Powell, Tracy Barron, Jerry Reynolds, and Buddy Bryant. We'd like that committee to stay the same if we can. Okay, this TCA committee is appointed by the sheriff and it's county commission confirmation. We got Tommy Baggett, Lanny Hadcock, and Bill Gray. Workhouse Board, 2-year term. Of course, Mr. Bradley chairs that board. We got Robert Farmer and Don Eden and Patsy Gregory. We'd like to put Stacy Moore on there till 2016. Emergency Communications is a lengthy board, but Nancy Johnson, of course, Kathy Spears, Bruce Dean, Ron Gallagher, Rick Jansen, Bill Holt, and Dave Thomas. We would like to put Gwen Martin and R.L. Douglas back on there for 2 reappointments in 2018. Animal Control is a yearly board. Of course, we like to leave it the same with Dr. Hitch, Patsy Gregory, Jonathan Gardner, Steve Haley, and Randy Wilson. The Budget Committee, Lanny Hadcock, Bobby Cows, Kathy Spears, me, and James Bowen. The nominating committee would like to leave that committee the same. Finance Investment, that's every January again. Howard Bradley, of course, Sandra Head, our trustee, Faye Stubblefield, Carol Duggar, and Tommy Jackson. And finally, we got going down to Finance Audit. That committee's Tommy Baggett, Irwin Brown, Dennis Wade, Buddy Bryant, Robert Farmer, Lanny Hadcock, Don Eaton, and Brad Moreland. Roger Cofeld is coming off that board. He has resigned, and the nomination committee is putting George Hatcher on that board. Safety Committee is all department heads, and of course the county mayor be James Bowens and Tommy Jackson, James Taylor, Laura Kendra, Ryan Martin, and R.L. Douglas. I think I'm coming down to the home track now, gang. The Personnel Committee is Larry Dean is resigning. We'd like to add Alice French to that committee. Okay, Mr. Chairman. I'm down to the Airport Committee, but we'd like to just take a minute to discuss that. Got some house cleaning.
You're going to make a motion to make Clyde a member.
Yeah, we'll do that now.
Have
I
a
need
motion to make Clyde Richard, the county attorney, a member.
Clyde Richard, our county
Second by Commissioner Couts. All those in favor of making Clyde a member, say aye. Opposed, no. So, Mr. County Attorney, if you'll.
We had just a little thing to do with the city. This is a city and county committee, and our attorney's going to explain. He's going to get us all explained and tell us what's going on.
Well, if you've ever been to a sporting event and seen on the big video board the basketballs or the footballs and they start bouncing and you're trying to figure out where they end up and they bounce over each other, that's a little bit about the airport board. The airport board has probably been the best organization, I think, without doubt, that the city and Springfield and the county have ever done together. To my knowledge, the airport has worked seamlessly. The airport board is made up of a group of people that are very dedicated, contributed a lot of their personal time over the years. I'm told that the chairman of the airport board nowadays contributes 20 to 25 hours a week. I never dreamed of that, but in dealing with the state and federal people. What has happened is there are 7 people on the airport board. And by the charter and the organizational minutes of how this was set up, there are 2 slots for pure county people. That is, you appoint 2 people. There are 2 slots that the city of Springfield appoints. There are 3 slots that are jointly approved by the city and the county. So the final 3 people need 2 votes, whereas you vote 2, Springfield votes 2, and we both organizations appoint 3. So there's your 7. What happened, I think, in October is Chris Simpkins, who has been a very valuable member of the board, there was a vacancy on the Springfield side. So one of their 2 slots, there was a resignation. And the game plan, if you will, was Chris was going to move from his city-county slot and move over and take the city slot. And you appointed Mr. Sam Chitty to take Chris's place. Now, a couple of hiccups happened after that. First of all, it was determined that Chris could not take the city slot because one of the rules of the 2 city slots is you have to live in the city of Springfield. Now, you can vote in the city of Springfield elections if you own property in Springfield. So everybody thought that would be okay with Chris Simpkins sliding over to a city slot because he owns real estate in Springfield. But once they got to looking at the rules, you got to live in the city. So that was a problem in that move, and since Sam Chitty was appointed in Chris's place, then there was a question about whether Chris was really going to be legitimate at the city, which he was not. He couldn't take one of those 2 slots. And furthermore, because Sam Chitty went into a joint slot, although I think he started acting as a member of the board, unbeknownst to anybody, it was determined the city had never approved him. Keep in mind the 3 joint slots have to have city vote, county vote. So in the last couple of weeks, Mr. Nutting and I, we've got together and talked to the airport people, and I think that, well, the next thing that's happened, again, keep the balls bouncing left and right, is you probably know Mr. Bill Stewart has resigned here in the last few days, and Bill was serving as a very able chairman of the airport board. Bill is a pure county slot. So now that we know that Chris Simpkins can't move to the city like it was planned, the plan here is Chris will go back home. Chris will go back to the city-county slot. That's step one. Sam Chitty will be picked up from what you did in October and moved over to tonight and dropped into Bill Stewart's pure county slot. So there's no vote at City Hall necessary for Sam Chitty. And after we do those 2 things, then the airport board will have their 6 members. Now, they still have that 7th city slot. And last week, they appointed one of their own aldermen on a temporary basis, and I think there's a good local citizen who has expressed interest and may well be appointed by the city at a special meeting in February. Once that happens, you're back to 7. So what I'm asking you to do tonight is 2 things. And because there's some issues coming up with the airport board, some contractual issues, I want to be sure the airport board is properly constituted and everybody holding office is not an issue. So first of all, I want you to reaffirm Chris Simpkins going back home where he came from, to the city-county slot. Paul Nutting tells me he's okay with that, being the city, because they never accepted Chris's resignation. But frankly, since you put Sam Chitty in Chris's place in October, that's probably tantamount to accepting Chris's resignation. So I want you to reaffirm Chris in his old slot of the city-county. And then number 2, ask you to reapprove Mr. Chitty. But again, he's wearing a different hat. You'll reapprove him tonight for the Bill Stewart pure county position. Is it clear as mud, or?
Questions for the county attorney?
Oh, that's it.
Any questions?
You repeat that.
Thank you, Clyde.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. I couldn't explain that any better myself.
Question's been called for. If you're in favor of approving this list of committee members for this slate for January, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So they are approved. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Clyde. We begin now resolutions. I'm going to recognize first of all Commissioner DeOrio for a budget amendment for year ending June 30, which is Assistant EMA Director position. Mr. DeOrio.
Mr. Speaker, how many votes would it take to pass a resolution here since we have only 23?
12.
12 will be
12 is a majority. Commissioner DeOrio.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerks, Commissioners, and audience, bring before you Resolution 012-714-004. And it, like the Mayor said, it's expense amendments for a clerical/assistant EMA director.
Have a motion and a second by Commissioner Baggett. Do you wish to explain, Mr. Chairman, or? This came from EMA committee.
It passed our EMA committee, and it's for the remainder of the year for salary, retirement, expenses.
This was taken to the Budget Committee, and I think the bottom line is, as we've talked about before, Mr. Douglas continues to accumulate in excess of 1,800 hours of comp time, and is probably a couple of 3 years away from retirement, and the committees saw the wisdom in him having an assistant. So That's why this is being brought to you. And of course, it only really impacts the budget for this fiscal year for about 3 months or so. Next year, of course, the entire amount. Any questions or comments? Ready? Commissioner Doris.
Yeah, I just want y'all to know that being that I kind of Evan volunteered with it for me, that I'm going to probably abstain from this, so I don't know conflict.
Questions or comments? You ready to vote? Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. There being 21 votes in favor and none opposed and is it one abstention? And one abstention, I declare that resolution approved. Recognize now Commissioner Bowens for a budget amendment for the juvenile court. Commissioner Bowens from the Budget Committee.
County Clerk, County Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you resolution number 0127-140-05. It's a resolution amending the budget for Robertson County for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2014. I move for adoption.
Have a motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner DeOrio. Any discussion? That is a balanced amendment.
It's a balanced amendment. It's for the juvenile court officer.
Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, please vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Being 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Recognize now Commissioner Lanny Adcock, Chairman of the Budget Committee, for a budget amendment for schools.
Mayor Bradley, Madam Clerk, fellow commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, this resolution 0127140006 is a balanced budget amendment. I make a motion we approve.
Motion and a second by Commissioner Couch. Discussion? This is the interest on the note for the architect fees for Watauga, as I recall. Okay. Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Being 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Recognize again Commissioner Bowens for a resolution from the UT Agricultural Extension Office, which will bring one of their salaries into a line item compliance. Commissioner Bowens.
Mayor Bradley, Madam Clerk, County Commission, ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you resolution number 0127-14007. And this is I move for adoption.
A motion and a second by Commissioner Bryant. This is putting in the cost of living raise which all county employees got to the UT Extension Office.
Something that we go through every year.
Ready to vote? Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Mr. Garner, are you still voting? There being 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Recognize Commissioner Bowens for a resolution for the library.
Mayor Bradley, Madam Clerk, County Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you resolution 0127-140-08. It's for a move for the passage of this resolution.
Motion and a second by Mr. Garner. I think all of you know what this is about. The funds will be free at the end of February for the library contribution. Commissioner Bowens.
This is for the library. I think everyone knows that $1 million was set aside for the library. And so I'm glad that for this motion tonight.
Questions? Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. There being 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent, I declare that resolution approved. And when Mr. Bowens gets caught up there, we'll go to a budget amendment for the county clerk's office.
Mayor Bradley, Madam Clerk, County Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you resolution 0127-14009. It's a resolution for the county clerk. I move for the adoption.
A motion and a second by Commissioner DeOrio. Question's been called for. Seeing no opposition to question being put, if you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Being 22 votes in favor and none opposed and 2 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Recognize Commissioner Adcock again for a budget amendment for schools. In fact, the next 2 are for schools. Commissioner Adcock.
Mayor Bradley, Madam Clerk, fellow commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, this is resolution 0127-14010. It's moving some funds for the school board. I make a motion we approve.
A motion for approval and a second by Commissioner Jackson. You ready to vote? Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Being 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Commissioner Adcock.
This is resolution 0127-14011. This is for the schools. It's a security issue in the school buildings. I make a motion we approve.
A motion for approval and a second by Commissioner Couts. Any discussion? Commissioner Ray.
Yes, I had a question on that. Was that put on in the paper to be voted on? I mean, for everybody to vote on, or on the Dodge report, or was it just given to 2 different contractors to bid on?
We got this some time ago in the budget committee, and it was about $800,000. And Mr. Davis came in, and if y'all want him to come forward and discuss this, I'll be glad to make a motion. We make him a member. The school board put this out for bid, and I can't answer the question that you just asked.
Did you move to make Mr. Davis a member? Yes. Commissioner Adcock. Second by Commissioner Moore. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Davis, you'll come up. You can probably shed some light on this since this was transacted through the Board of Education. Mike Davis, Director of Schools.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the commission. What happened is, the first time we brought a figure to the county commission or the budget committee, it was approximately $890,000. I was directed to go back and to review the scope of work and to come back with a number that was more in line with what had been projected before my tenure here. I think there have been some numbers floated. We did that, and then we had the architect put that out to bid. He did. He sent it to all of the bid houses in Nashville, and it was out there for several days, 10 or 15 days. Got the bids back, and we had 2 bids, R.G. Anderson and Biscayne. Biscayne was the company that had the lowest bid. The board accepted the lowest bid, $250-some thousand, and then there was some additional money that we can do ourselves, some work that we can do ourselves at probably to $260,000.
I was just concerned that it was put local, for anybody locally that pay taxes here in the county, if there's anybody locally here in the county had the opportunity to bid on it.
Well, normally, Commissioner, how they do that is in these projects, they put them out there to the bid houses, you call it bid houses, and they circulate that, and people call constantly. In fact, I got calls, and I don't know who all they were from, asking me about the project, and no one else bid on it. We'd love to have more bids and had a better price, but I think we got to, considering the difference between $890,000 and $260,000, I think we really saved the commission and the county a lot of money here.
Any other questions of Mr. Davis?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Moore.
Well, you have to have 2 readings on this, so you'll have to have another reading next month. Once you complete that second reading, we will issue a contract to Biskin for the work to be completed. Probably take them 3 to 5 months to complete the work. We do. We have plans and specifications that have been developed by the architect for each building. Yes, ma'am. Except for Watauga, that one was held out because that will be part of the overall renovation once that's done.
Mr. Jones.
The front door of the building, the entrance can be activated by someone in the office, correct?
Correct.
Is there a second door before you leave the office going into the center?
Yes, and
will that door be secured?
That door can be secured by a buzzer as well, and what would happen there is the person would have to be buzzed into the building even after they got into the secure entrance, and that, you and I have discussed that, and we can do that ourselves without outside help.
I highly suggest that you do that, sir.
Other questions, Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Couch.
Questions or comments? Looking at 890,000 compared to 260,000, I just want to say thank you. That's a lot better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Davis. Ready to vote? Question has been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Commissioner Bowens and Commissioner Eden, are you two still voting? Mr. Eden? Thank you. There we go. There being 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent, I declare that resolution approved. I'm going to recognize Commissioner Eden at this. Commissioner Adcock, yes.
We discussed this in the budget committee. This will be delayed. We could suspend the rules and read a second motion on this tonight, but I'd rather the county commission decide that rather than the budget committee. If they're, if it's in favor of it, we could move forward with this quicker.
That's always the pleasure of this body.
So moved.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules and consider it for a second time? Have a motion by Commissioner Garner. Is there a second?
Yes, sir. I'd like to second that.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? Commissioner Doris.
All this is for security of our children, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are voting now to suspend the rules and consider this resolution for a second time, which would expedite the process by 1 month. Okay? If you're in favor of suspending the rules, please vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Commissioner Garner, are you still voting? Okay. There being 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent, I declare that you have suspended the rules, so Commissioner Adcock, the chair, would entertain a motion to consider this measure for the second time. Would you make that in form of a motion?
I'll make a motion that we
Okay.
approve it for
Is there a
second reading.
Is there a second for the second reading? A second by Commissioner Couch. Any discussion? Everybody clear on what you're doing? Okay. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. being 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent, that resolution is approved. So you have approved this budget amendment for the second time. So it is now take effect. Now, we'll recognize Commissioner Don Eden for a contract agreement between the Sheriff's Department and Correct Care. Commissioner Eden.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Clerk, fellow commissioners, and members of the audience, I introduce resolution number 0127-14012, and I move for its adoption.
A motion and duly seconded by Commissioner DeOrio. Anything you want to say about this resolution?
Yes, this is a resolution from the Sheriff's Department to enter into a contract with a private company called Correct Care Integrated Healthcare Services, and in effect, for a flat fee, they're going to be reviewing the sheriff's hospital bills and healthcare bills for the inmates that we're required to furnish that healthcare for. The sheriff and his staff are convinced that it's going to save us money in the long run. Any other questions?
Any questions? This comes to you from the jail and workhouse committees. Questions been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent. I declare that resolution approved. Recognize Commissioner Garner for the next 4 resolutions, actually, but the next 2 under new resolutions. Approve I-65 interchange between TDOT project.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Madam Clerks, fellow commissioners, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. Bring to your attention resolution number 0127-14013. It's the resolution to approve the I-65 interchange from the Tennessee Department of Transportation.
Motion duly made and a second by Commissioner Couch. Any discussion? This is standard form whenever TDOT does a project in your county. They ask us for a resolution. Commissioner Ray.
You and I went to Nashville about the resolution, the interchange for White House.
Yes, sir.
You know, they, at that point, TDOT told us they were going to have to move the place where
The Welcome Center?
Welcome Center. And
Yes,
they
sir.
built a new one there.
Yes, sir.
How does this affect that? Do you know?
I really don't know how it does. I think it's more or less in the same place, but not exactly. Any other questions? Question been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, please vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Being 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Recognize now Commissioner Garner for a resolution in support of THDA home grant application.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Madam Clerks, fellow commissioners, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. I bring to your attention resolution number 0127-14014. It's a resolution in support of the fiscal year 2014 THDA home grant application.
A motion duly made and seconded by Commissioner DeOrio. This is required whenever Robertson County makes application for federal funds to repair dilapidated housing, and we hope that this is just a pass-through. There's no county money here, and all of us know of people that really, really need this help. Questions? Questions been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Being 22 votes in favor and none opposed and 2 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Any old business? Seeing none, under new business, I'm going to recognize Commissioner Garner for the bond for the new clerk and master.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerks, fellow commissioners, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. I bring to your attention resolution number 0127-14015, resolution approving surety bond for the clerk and master.
Motion and seconded by Commissioner Stubblefield.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, it's
Yes, sir.
certainly troubling to see Mr. Hudgens leave us, but I want to say I can report personally, and those in the bar, that Ms. Rosemary Phillips certainly has begun the process of filling those shoes.
Surety bond for Ms. Phillips, the new clerk and master. Question been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. And 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent. I declare that resolution approved. Commissioner Garner for the bond for the finance director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerks, fellow commissioners, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. Bring to your attention resolution number 0127-14016, resolution approving the surety bond for the finance director.
Motion duly made, seconded by Commissioner Farmer. You ready to vote? Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. There being 22 votes in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Any other resolutions? Seeing none, I'm going to recognize Commissioner Bryant for a point of order. Commissioner Buddy Bryant from the 7th District.
County Mayor, Madam Clerk, fellow commissioners, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. I'm here tonight to give an explanation and give a reason. I didn't want to leave here with questions, but Mr. Bradley has my letter of resignation. I'll be resigning from the commission after tonight's meeting. As we all know, it's petition time, and there's a lot of folks out there trying to decide whether they're going to run for office and picking up petitions. I picked up a petition about 16 years ago, and I was fortunate enough to be elected by the good people of the 7th District, along with Mr. Vogel. And I've enjoyed my time here, but I was about 95% sure that I wasn't going to seek re-election. You know, it's time to let somebody else come in. And by chance, I was offered a board seat with the Tennessee Farm Bureau Insurance Board. And I've been involved with Farm Bureau a little longer than I've been on the commission, but it just, you know, sometimes things happen for a reason, and I wasn't lobbying for it or asking for it, but accepting that position makes it necessary that I resign from the commission.
I move we don't accept it.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Bobby, but I also wanted to come by and thank everyone for all the support and help, Mayor Bradley. You know, being up here has been a real eye-opener for me. You know, government's not self-serving. It's about the people. It's about your county. It's about what you can do to make it a better place when you leave here. And this commission does a great job in seeing that and doing what's best for the county. You know, when I think I figured up, you don't really think about it, but I've served with over 50 different people, department heads, sheriffs, commissioners, superintendents in this 16 years, and I didn't really realize it was that many till I got thinking about it one night and counting them up. And all of those folks had one thing in common. They were here for the betterment of the county, and I know that will continue. You know, there's been a lot of folks that's been on this commission that are no longer with us, a lot of department heads. And a lot of times when I'm up here, I think about, you know, what they would have done. And, you know, I could name out names and y'all would all recognize them, but we all know who they are. So without any further ado, with sincere appreciation and heartfelt gratitude to the people of the 7th District for allowing me to serve for these last 15 and a half years. To Billy Vogel, a fella couldn't have had a better partner from the 7th District, and certainly couldn't have had a better friend. You know, me and Billy have been up here together all these years. He came on and filled a spot of G.K. Anderson. And I think me and Billy voted on the opposite side 2 or 3 times, But I think we did that just to see if people were actually noticing we were actually voting or not. So, but it's been a wonderful, wonderful time. To my wife and family, you know, what can I say? You know, it took me away from home on the farm when I should have been working. It took me away from things that I should have been doing, and I'm sincerely appreciative for their effort. So good luck to all y'all, and I appreciate my time here.
Mr. Bryant, I know I speak on behalf of this entire body and all of Robertson County to say a heartfelt thank you for what you've done for us. You leave a great void. I've always cherished your level-headed, calm approach to county government. I've always known that you did what was in the interest of the people of the 7th District and Robertson County, and we're going to miss you.
Well, thank you. I will miss y'all.
So you will be filling 2 positions at the March, 3rd Monday night in March meeting, and we move on. We recognize Commissioner Bobby Jones for the election of notaries.
You'll find at your desk a list of 9 individuals who request to be a notary in this county. They've been screened and recommended by the Attorney General's office and 2 commissioners, and I move they be elected.
Motions are second to that. Second by Commissioner Brown. All those in favor say aye. So they are elected, and the chair will accept a motion to adjourn. Headed by Commissioner DeOrio and second by Commissioner Darsh. All those in favor? We stand adjourned.